So, let's shear some sheep. So, this is here to prevent them from escaping in that direction. And they will come out of that door there, of that gate. And my job is to block this path, so that eventually they only can go there, and there the shearing will then happen. So now the guys entered the wannabe food forest to find the 4 sheep there. It's like sheep hunting. And then they will motivate them to find the exit. And my presence here should block their escape. And eventually they will be in that little corral that you can see there. There is an extension cord and the scissors for shearing them. And after that they will be released. I think they will not go back to the wannabe food forest because they ate everything there. And of course they should not eliminate all the plants, just graze them a little bit. So they will then go back to the remainder of zone B, where they can continue grazing what has growing in between. And of course they don't know what the guys are up to, so they will run back and forth until they figure out where they are supposed to be going. And by the way, if we had border collies, herding dogs, now this would be quite easy, because 2 or 3 of them would then simply fetch the sheep and bring them. But you cannot have border collies and mastiffs together. That does not work. At least I have never seen this around here. Maybe it does, it depends. Because mastiffs can be with other breeds of dogs, that's not a problem. If they know each other, then that might work. I wasn't able to film this, so you could not see it. But the sheep can jump, and that's what they did. They jumped the fence between the wannabe food forest and the paddock bay 3, because the guys put too much pressure on them. So that's the thing. Especially Juan, the older one, has a lot of experience in moving animals, but the way the animals are being moved traditionally around here is with pressure. So instead of pressure and release to guide them and steer them, the traditional way is to always add pressure. And then of course the animal panics. And as we don't have, on purpose, no installation where the animal cannot physically escape, think about walls of concrete 3 meters high, stuff like that, then of course this technique does not work, because it will create an arbitrary result and the animal will try to escape wherever it seems possible, because a prey animal prefers to die escaping than being eaten alive. And of course the human in that case is the predator. And so now what is supposed to be a very simple thing, 5 minutes, yeah, get them out here and move them there, is now a longer ordeal. So Juan is now walking somewhere there in the distance, trying to find them and move them so that they come here, because there you can see them. That is where they are. So now a lot of time is lost, because the idea was to apply pressure, to do it fast. And here I have to criticize a little bit. It's pretty hard to make the older Juan, 60 years old, understand that there is a different way. The same, by the way, goes for horses. Because a lot of people around here also think that by treating a horse harshly, that will work. It works with some horses because they are submissive. But usually it's a bad idea. And it's not sustainable. Because some horses remember and then will kick the person that treated them badly. So now I need to be watchful, because I might have to do something. But that's a little bit of an explanation. It's a cultural thing. So one last word about this. Look up the term natural horsemanship. Read about what it means, what it entails, and you can see the difference. Because horse people have thought a little bit more about this than those who keep livestock for meat. The perception of the animal is quite different. You don't eat a horse. You try to have a companion. So here they come. Now they stopped because the gate is closed. The guys are coming up from behind. Now we will see if they try to run through. Okay, no. The idea is to move them here to the right, into that little corral, and then hopefully they will stay there. Of course now they are in the dead corner. Okay, they figured it out. Now you need to be fast and close, and then the shearing can begin if they will not escape, because they might. With sheep that are handled daily and you can walk between them and touch them, it's a different thing. But these sheep are not used to any of that. And there are only 4 in this case. The other 3 have been sheared already. If that were a larger flock of, let's say, 50 or 100, numbers provide safety, then they would be calmer. Right now they are frightened. And that's the problem. So now, hopefully they calm down and realize that they are trapped, but nothing bad will happen. So that's a good outcome. Took a moment, but everything is okay.
Afuera nos vamos ahí. A ver, no, dice que dentro no. Yo la estoy ahí. No. Échala para allá. Písala bien, Písala. Échate el aceite para esto y te trae una guitarra.
The interesting thing about sheep is once they are in that position, they come down automatically and usually will not try to escape anymore. Once you have them on their edge or on their back, they will kind of freeze, which makes this a lot easier, guys. While the shearing happens, I can show you a little bit how this looks like. This morning I saw them foraging here in this area. Of course, this is the last area that they went into, so they did not eat a lot of this here, but it's okay, because we don't want to have this empty. They did move the vetiver mulch, but that was to be expected. It doesn't matter, we can place it again. And of course with more vetiver, which is the point, there will be more and more of a thick layer that is then much harder to be moved away. So that is an ongoing thing. And they nibbled on all these plants that we know that they like to eat them, but as you can see, not down, but only at the very top. So basically at the height of the mouth. And they have been all over the place. So you can also see that they kind of created a path here. And they have been at everything that's green. I also saw them nibbling on the trees a little bit, which is okay. So down there you can see a few bite marks. So that kind of is the pruning effect. And for trees that have this, that works. I would assume if these sprouts were not there, they might nibble the bark of the tree and basically kill it. I have seen images of trees being killed by sheep. So if there is not much left, and then there is the bark, which has certain properties that they are after, then they kill the tree. So by letting enough sprouts be there, you can see here, you kind of avoid this, because you offer them an alternative. Because here, in the case of this peach, they could have. But it's all looking very good. And it's enough of maintenance. We don't want this to become bare. And now let's have a look at the palovnias here. You might remember that I said let's allow them, and yeah, they did. So it's clearly visible that they did eat from the palovnia. But that's okay. Down there they are allowed to. That was the idea. So now it is a little bit pruned at the base, and that is like it should be. So they do eat palovnia. They have before. And around here they have not. I am showing you a little bit the shade. Let's go around. It's hard to walk. I almost tripped over. So you see, there they did not. They were occupied with all the other plants, but not the palovnia. But of course, if we would keep them here for longer, then these trees become more and more attractive to surface tree fodder. You can also see that this here is greatly reduced. And here they also nibbled a lot closer to the ground. And over there they left bare ground. So let's go there. That is their preferred hiding spot from the sun. So when the sun is higher and comes around, that tree provides shade. You can see the shade growing there, and eventually they stand on that berm in the shade and they won't move. So that is why this is all trampled and completely grazed off. So this is overgrazing here, definitely. But I don't mind, because our idea is to seed here Crotalaria and friends, sunhemp and friends. And by the way, I mentioned this tree, it is dead. So they scratched and did something else, and eventually it broke off. So that was sitting here somewhere and is now gone. But it's okay, we would have removed it anyway. So they basically did the job for us. So this is the moonscape, and we do have some manure. So this is all okay. But the next opportunity, we need to bring the machine here, our power harrow, and work that ground, and also have irrigation, a sprinkler somehow, and then we can seed. But first we need to finish some other things, and then eventually we will work on this. In theory, for the sunhemp and friends, we have all the way to September, because that experimental patch adjacent to the house, that was seeded in September, and the plants were able to grow and mature, and we had sunflowers providing new seed. So there is absolutely no problem if time goes by, because we are busy with some other things, and this comes into schedule a little bit later. You can also see here they did the very same. Those were all the grasses that they know, and that is what they go for, and they did not touch the vetiver. So that is very good. So the vetiver is intact. I have seen them in between, and they eat all the other things. So this is absolutely perfect. And there's some manure here and there, I can see it. And with more rain, which is in the forecast, something will then grow here, and the vetiver continues. So I'm very happy with the result of this maintenance done by the sheep. No complaints whatsoever. The only thing is that we miss more vetiver and more trees, but that will come. And I should mention that I continue to work on our software to manage this, so that we know which steps to take, where we are at, which step is next, and all this. So it's not like a task list, and because it's a multi-year process, and the software is supposed to help us that, so that every year you know what things you want to do. I also want to have some sort of a dashboard that tells a smallholder using the software what the current status of land and operation from different aspects, including the financial one, is. This is quite an interesting thing. And if you happen to have some land of your own, you might want to sign up for the waitlist. Go to www.granja.eu and you can sign up there, because at some point I will open this for friends and family, and you can be in that early group to give it a try, to use it, and also help me to develop all these features that for your operation and your situation might be helpful. Because right now this is being developed based on what we need here, but that is not the same as what other people might want to use. So please feel free to sign up there, and there will be no price at the moment. So this is for free. You're basically paying with your feedback, and I appreciate that very much. So don't be afraid. Just enter your email address in that box. If you happen to have a small holding of some sort, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's some sort of livestock, agriculture, anything like that. And you might then receive access once I am technically able to open it for other people. Here we have an old gate. I just removed the chain, and that is the connection from the compound to our zone C. The soil here is much better, because there's always some leak, and plants grow, and here and there they get grazed off. I don't have to do this well, because I will return the same way, and the cows are currently elsewhere. They were here 2 times for the water that we have here, and over there you can see Sakahawea, the blind mare, and also the sheep. They are now naked. The beeping is from the energizer. Somewhere the electric fence is shorting out, but the plan is to take the cows to the place over there, which is full of new forage, and then they won't come back until they have finished their journey all around our zone A that we have kept alone so that everything can grow. They have been here a few times grazing everything that grew here in this area, and as you can see, it is definitely time to move them away so that this can continue grazing, because it looks like that here and there we are getting a rain shower. There is more in the long-term forecast. It comes and goes, and actually yesterday we got a small shower. It wasn't very much, but some water fell, and that is something that is unusual here, but I am very happy about this, because that means that all this will go. Water and heat makes plants grow. And this there was a huge pile of spent straw. They still ate it nonetheless. The idea was we wanted to make a swale here and use that material in that swale, so that later on we can plant some trees along the swale, but it never happened because of other issues, and now it's gone. But we have to clean this up, and I can see there's actually a hazard, and with the spent straw that was not meant to be consumed, because these bales are still extremely heavy. If they are fresh and not wet, it's 450 kilo, so the hazard is this. So we definitely need to pick this up, but you can't simply come here and pull them out because they are buried. So this is heavy work, and at best we need the machine to use the hydraulics to pull this out. So what is on the surface, it is easy. There you can say, yeah, just pick it up, which I won't, because I want to show you the Polovnias, and I have the camera in my hand and all this. But the stuff that is buried is very hard to take out, and of course you could cut it, but then you have smaller pieces. So this is the downside of straw bales. And I should mention this for people in regions where this is easily available. No, here in Andalusia you cannot get round bales of hay. It is not available. Nobody makes hay here. The straw comes from nearby Cordoba and is from a wheat harvest, and nobody makes hay. Of course we could bring it here from elsewhere in Spain, but it is extremely expensive because the distance. So 10 hours truck driving, that costs some money. And then these bales are round, and nobody wants to transport them because on a truck only a few would fit. So this is something that I would love to have, but it is not available. So let's forget about this. And after all, that is one of the reasons why we decided to stop with cattle ranching and restore the land in a different way. So I better get walking and not shake the camera too much. So see you on the other side, which is up there.